Martin Biron, our NHL analyst, is here to help me understand what is going on in the NHL's Eastern Conference Final. Because, Marty, I saw Carolina dispatch New Jersey and Washington rather easily in the first two rounds. They're not a bad team, and I know Florida's the defending champs. But how is this so lopsided? Carolina can't even get shots on goal.
Yeah, well, the Florida offense is not what Washington provided in the second round, what New Jersey was doing in the first round. They have now scored 5 or more goals 7 times in the playoffs. They can fill the net, right? The team that has scored 5 or more goals the second most time is the Oilers at 4, so 7 times is the Florida Panthers. And how aggressive they've been. Their forecheck, their defense pinching. Look at this. This is a minute in. Carolina can't get out of their zone. Gustav Forsling comes in and scores. And now later in the first, again, Bennett on the forecheck. Mikkola down the wall. He comes in. He pinches. Like, you can never take a break when Florida's on the ice. We saw that in Game 7 with Toronto. They got overwhelmed by Florida, and now Carolina's being overwhelmed. And Carolina can't even get shots on net. And a lot of it is on them. They had a 2-on-1 at 3-0. They could have scored there. They don't. And then they attack the net. They're looking for the pass in the middle of the ice. And you look at Carolina, the fans were yelling, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. They are number 1 in shot attempts. And they usually are very high. And they're number 2 this year to Colorado in shots on goal in the playoffs. But they're not shooting. That's their own fault. And Florida is overwhelming Carolina right now. 13 goals by the defense. That's because the defense is so active. That's number 1. They're number 1 in goals off the forecheck. Florida is. These are the keys to their success. And you can tell now what they did against Toronto in Game 5 and 7 especially is carried over, and they're completely overwhelming the Hurricanes.
I want to talk about Sam Bennett, Marty, because he had 2 goals. This guy is the playoff performer du jour in the National Hockey League right now, and that's what makes his upcoming unrestricted free agency so intriguing, I think, to everybody, because as you know, this is a guy who's never scored more than 28 goals in a season, and yet, do you think it's possible that enough teams see him as the final piece of their playoff puzzle that he might end up getting as much as $10 million a year this offseason?
It's like the real estate. How many buyers do you have? And then it just makes a bidding war and the prices go up. I think Sam Bennett right now would be somewhere around the $7.5 to $8 million because, look, he's only had 51 points this season, and that was the only time he's gotten over 50. Can he get to 60, close to 70? I think he can. But what he does, other than the points, the forecheck, the hitting, the plays on with his stick on the defensive side, how he gets to the front of the net, I think there's going to be 25 teams that are going to call Sam Bennett and his agent on July 1st. And all of a sudden, you start at 7.5, 8 over 7 years. And then there's a team that says, okay, I'll go 8.5. There's a team that says, I'll go 9. There's a team that says, I'll go 9.5. I don't think it's going to get over 10, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the 9.5 range because there's going to be so many teams that would want him. And this year, he's got 9 playoff goals right now. It's first in the playoffs. I would pick him as my Conn Smythe right now. I know Mikko Rantanen has 9 goals, and it's probably the same thing. But the impact of Sam Bennett, not just with the scoring, but all around the game, I think is incredible. So, yes, I think it's going to get expensive for Sam Bennett, but it depends how many teams are going against one another and creating that bidding war. And a good agent will make sure that he gets the best price. It's like a good realtor. Realtor will put money in your pocket any day.
There you go. A lot of leverage for Sam Bennett. I gotta finish up by asking you this, Marty Biron. Is this series over in your mind?
Well, Florida hasn't been great at home. They've been so much better on the road than at home. So I don't think it's over. But I'm not giving the Carolina Hurricanes more than a 5 or 10% chance of coming back. You lose both games at home. You're going into Florida. You're lucky if you get a split in Florida. Now all of a sudden you're down 3-1 and all the pressure's on you. So it's not over because Carolina and Brendan Moore, they have faced some adversity. But, man, they've lost 14 straight Eastern Conference Finals game. Like, that is a pretty crazy streak for sure.
Let's see if they can break that streak on Saturday on the road in Sunrise, Florida for Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Marty Biron. Marty, now I'm going to do a very complicated camera turn for my next piece here. Okay, ready? Here we go. I dip, and I'm up. Here I am. Clarky. That's what they were chanting at TD Place in Ottawa after Emily Clark scored the OT winner in Game 1 of the PWHL final, giving the Charge a 1-0 lead over the defending champion, Minnesota.